Noontime heat shimmered above Andrews Air Force Base. Flags snapped beneath the relentless sky while neat ranks of airmen waited at parade rest. A surprise visit by President Donald Trump was moments away. He was there to recognize crews returning from a hush-hush humanitarian sortie. Families edged forward, reporters jockeyed for vantage, and anticipation coiled tight. Near the center of the line stood Senior Airman Jace Carter. His back was straight, jaw set, yet his thoughts churned far from ceremony. The presidential motorcade rolled to a stop. Trump emerged, trading crisp salutes and firm handshakes as he advanced down the corridor of uniforms. When he halted before Jace, the commander-in-chief's right hand rose smartly. Jace's, however, stayed planted at his thigh. A collective inhale swept the formation. Secret Service eyes flicked. Seconds stretched. Finally, Trump let his own salute fall. "At ease, son," he murmured. Jace offered only a measured nod. Behind them, a brigadier's complexion drained ghost pale. Whispers would wait. Duty demanded silence, for now. That night, speculation ricocheted through the barracks. "Did you see Carter? Like a statue. Court-martial incoming for sure." Jace sat on his bunk, shoulders sagging, thumbs worrying the edges of a battered photo he kept in a leather wallet. Tech Sergeant Miguel Alvarez finally broke the tension. "You all right, brother?" "I did what I had to," Jace said, eyes locked on the picture. "That's career suicide." "There's a reason," Jace replied, voice low. "Just not tonight." Across the Potomac, White House comms officials replayed the footage in anxious loops. The press pool had noticed. The clip had not yet aired, but questions brewed. The chief of staff asked point blank, "Sir, response?" "None, for now," Trump answered, fingers steepled. Whatever the act signified, it didn't smell of simple defiance, and he meant to learn why. 3 sunrises later, Jace stared at a scrap of stationery. His pen scratched only a single line. "To the President of the United States, I could not salute you because of my sister." He pushed the paper away, throat tight. Captain Abigail Carter, his older sister, had died in a drone strike on a humanitarian convoy in Syria. Official briefings called it tragic error. Jace's own digging suggested indecent haste. The approval chain ended at a single signature, President Trump. Worse, he'd uncovered ignored radio traffic, Abigail pleading for a delay. He had read every transcript, then burned them, yet her voice echoed nightly in his head. He didn't despise the uniform. He mourned the machine that had crushed his sister's last warning. His unfinished letter trembled in his grip. Next morning, an unexpected summons sent him to the commander's office. Waiting inside stood a 2-star general and a civilian in a dark suit. "Senior Airman Carter," the general said, "this is Mr. Daniels from the White House." Daniels stepped forward. "The president requests a private conversation. No cameras, no disciplinary strings. Voluntary." "With respect," Jace asked, Is that an order? A request, the general repeated. Jace's pulse hammered. Refusal felt safe. Acceptance felt necessary. He drew a breath. I'll go. That evening he packed. Abigail's picture caught the lamplight. Her grin seemed to nudge him forward. Maybe it's time, he whispered. The West Wing conference room lay hushed when Jace arrived. President Trump waited alone and gestured to a chair. You stood your ground on that runway, Trump began. Tell me why. Jace set Abigail's photo on the polished table. My sister, Captain Abigail Carter, was killed last year in Syria. She radioed for a hold. The strike went in anyway. Trump studied the image, face unreadable. You're saying my authorization sealed her fate? I'm saying the system bearing your name ignored her plea. A silence thicker than protocol filled the room. At length Trump asked, What do you want from me? Truth, Jace said, and for her voice to matter. Later, alone in the Oval Office, Trump rotated the photo beneath the desk lamp. He rang his national security advisor. I need every file on the Syria convoy strike. Comms, transcripts, the lot, April 12th. Hours before dawn, a sealed dossier landed on the Resolute desk. Trump donned headphones and pressed play. Captain Abigail Carter, non-combat convoy, civilians aboard, abort strike, wrong coordinates. Another voice cut her off, clipped and hurried. Negative. Orders confirmed. Target acquired. Then static. Then the flat report of impact. Trump's hands shook. The audio had been labeled corrupted. Someone had buried it. But who? At sunrise he called Andrews. Have Senior Airman Carter meet me again. When Jace arrived, the president stood holding the photo. She tried to save lives. I heard her. I owe you, both of you, the full story. But unveiling it will crack walls few dare touch. Jace's reply was steady. Sir, sometimes walls need to crack. The decision hanging between them would ignite consequences far beyond an unfinished salute, and history was about to record whether truth could outrank power. Faced with a choice between protecting the system or honoring one fallen soldier, Trump chose the latter. He convened a top-secret briefing with senior defense brass. Why was Captain Abigail Carter's warning buried? He asked. Silence. Finally, General Morrison, head of operations, cleared his throat. Intelligence feared any pause would jeopardize the whole mission. Suspected hostile infiltration. She was hauling civilians, Trump snapped. She radioed for a hold, and you ignored her. Morrison faltered. Some reports were adjusted, sir, to shield senior careers. A junior aide added, almost inaudible. The approval chain was scrubbed, Mr. President, fast-tracked to dodge oversight. Trump's fist cracked the tabletop. Find the name. Daniels, alert the press office. We're not burying this. That evening Jace Carter's phone buzzed. Mr. Carter, Trump said, voice flat but resolute, I'm going public. Your sister deserves daylight. Jace swallowed hard. Thank you. He'd barely hung up before cameras were set. Next day the nation watched the Rose Garden. No teleprompter, no spin. Trump lifted Abigail's photograph. This is Captain Abigail Carter, a hero who tried to save innocence. Her plea was erased by haste. Reporters froze. This administration accepts responsibility, he continued, and today launches a full probe into the strike's approval. A correspondent shouted, "Won't this endanger national security?" Trump shot back, "There is no security without integrity." Jace, standing at the rear, felt tears burn. The commander-in-chief he could not salute was now his sister's megaphone. But far from the cameras, tension boiled. Pentagon corridors echoed with angry footfalls. Some called Trump reckless, others whispered about chain-of-command ruin. Anonymous leaks began smearing Abigail's service record. "Let it go," advisors urged. Trump refused. He summoned Jace again. "You okay?" "They're dragging her through mud." "They won't win," Trump said. "We're building something bigger." "A memorial?" Jace guessed. "A statute," the president replied. Abigail's Law, every combat transmission archived and reviewed by independent oversight. No more lost voices. Jace stared, stunned. Wheels of reform began to grind even as rivals plotted to jam the gears. Chief among them, retired General Whitaker, architect of the original cover-up. In a smoky Georgetown club, he met 2 senators and a defense industry magnate. "If that law passes," Whitaker hissed, "our dark corners get flooded with light." Senator Hall sipped his scotch. "And Carter's brother?" Whitaker's smile was knife-thin. "Leave him to me." Plans hatched overnight, hit pieces to tarnish Trump, threats to silence Jace. Unaware of the storm, Jace spoke at a base memorial, Abigail's photo pinned to his blues. She believed every life mattered, even unseen ones, he told the hushed crowd. At the back, a man with a burner phone texted, "Stage is set." Next dawn a note slid beneath Jace's door. "Drop this or regret it." She died because she disobeyed. Don't copy her mistake. He filed a report. The sender vanished. Later Daniels called. "They're rattling you." "It's working," Jace exhaled, then straightened. "But I'm not quitting. I want justice." Trump, briefed on the threat, ordered round-the-clock security, and dropped a bombshell. "Next week you'll address Congress, veterans, the press. Tell them who Abigail was." "Me? Why me?" "Because they'll trust you before they ever trust me," Trump said. Countdown to the Capitol address began. Jace rehearsed relentlessly. Meanwhile, Whitaker financed a deep-fake smear, doctored footage portraying Abigail as unstable moments before the strike. "Hero or hazard?" screamed cable news churns. Devastated, Jace called the White House. Trump's media crew counterpunched, releasing authentic mission logs that shredded the fake. Yet the propaganda war raged. "What if I choke?" Jace asked Trump. "Then you'll still be the bravest man in the room," came the reply. Under the Capitol's soaring dome, cameras rolled. Veterans, legislators, and millions at home fell silent as Jace Carter stepped to the microphone. "My name is Jace Carter. My sister died in a war zone, but the blow came from silence, not the enemy." He recounted her final plea, the buried tapes, the institutional instinct to protect itself. His voice never wavered. No call should fade into static. No hero should be erased. Let Abigail's law stand, not for politics, but for every soldier who serves with heart. Tears tracked down weathered faces. Applause thundered. And in the gallery, the President of the United States rose first, leading the ovation that promised a fallen captain her long-denied justice. Thunderous applause echoed beneath the Capitol dome as legislators voted. Abigail's law sailed through with near-unanimous support. Yet the story's final chapter had only begun. 1 week later, during a live broadcast from the White House lawn, President Donald Trump pinned the Medal of Honor, posthumously, on Captain Abigail Carter's empty dress blues. At his side, Jace Carter's hands shook as he accepted the decoration. "This medal isn't just for courage," Trump said to the cameras. "It's for truth." High on a terrace across Pennsylvania Avenue, General Whitaker watched, jaw tight. His scheme lay in ruins, his fury unspent. Now his crosshairs shifted from Jace alone to the president who had exposed him. A new whistleblower stepped from the shadows. Colonel Lena Walsh, an intel officer who'd secretly archived Abigail's last call. "Meeting covertly with Daniels," she whispered. "Whitaker didn't just hide the strike. He forged the intel to ram through a lucrative defense contract. Fake data, real profit." Daniels blanched. "You're saying he cashed in on the mission that killed Abigail?" Lena nodded grimly. "And he's still shredding evidence." Briefed that night, Trump muttered, "If this breaks, we're talking treason." He glanced at Jace's case file. The young airman was about to become the star witness. Federal prosecutors moved fast. Money trails, encrypted chats, and Walsh's testimony painted a devastating picture. Summoned to court, Jace swallowed his nerves, raised his right hand, and told the jury about the day his sister died, and the machine that tried to erase her warning. "I stand here because she can't," he finished. "Her voice will not vanish again." Trump slipped into the gallery for the verdict, guilty on every count. Justice finally wore a nameplate. Back at Andrews, Jace returned to the runway where everything started. New cadets approached with reverence, his story now part of ethics briefings. Tech Sergeant Miguel Alvarez gave a broad grin. "You made it home, brother." "Not sure I ever left," Jace laughed. That evening he visited the memorial wall, fastening Abigail's medal beneath her portrait. "She made it home too," he whispered. The next morning, Trump called Jace to the Oval Office. "I'm launching a permanent oversight unit. Veterans, active duty, whistleblowers. I want you on it." "Me?" Jace blinked. "You already see the cracks," Trump answered. Jace drew a steady breath. Then I'll help seal them. They clasped hands. Trump added softly, You never saluted me on that flight line, but today, I salute you. Eyes shining, Jace lifted his hand and returned the gesture at last. Months later, Abigail's law entered the official defense code. Every combat transmission now faced civilian review. At the signing, Trump declared, her voice nearly disappeared, but her brother, and this nation, refused to let that happen. Abigail's name was etched into the Defense Hall of Honor as the crowd rose to its feet. That night in the barracks, Jace unfolded the scrap of stationery he'd once abandoned and finished the letter. Dear Mr. President, I couldn't salute you then, not from anger but from grief. Today I salute you, for what you did, and for what you chose to become. Thank you for hearing my sister. Thank you for letting the world hear her too. Jace Carter. He sealed the envelope, knowing some stories begin in silence, but this one closed with a salute and a voice the world would never lose again.